guys that were just here as we head into scrimmage number 2 tomorrow, and looking for our entire organization to take ownership of our processes and our system, and also an opportunity to test our players and challenge our players and put them in situations where we can assess and train their competitive responses. I learned that a little while back by great mentors. You know, when you're a coach, you want to train great, elite competitive responses, and we want to see that. We want to continue to improve our levels of conditioning, communication, alignment, our physicality, our ability to finish plays, finish drives, stop drives, knock the line of scrimmage back, anything relating to playing good football. We want to show more maturity in making really good decisions during plays. We want to make sure that our technique and fundamentals take another step. We want to make sure that we mix and match a couple of more personnel combinations on both sides of the ball, and we want to find out who's for real. We want to test guys, and we want to see who stands up to the challenge and who needs more work. We'll always work with a guy, but it's time to really find out who steps up. But it has to be challenging. We got to create a team of full-speed players, and full-speed players that play that way all the time. So the camp has been geared to that. We've made some progress. We still have a long ways to go, but we're excited about that. So with that being said, questions, please.
How has this, when you talk about maturity, how has this team handled, like, in play adversity, like when a route has to be adjusted on a fly, when a throw has to be adjusted, when a play breaks down or something has to change in real time? How is this team gripping what they have to do in those moments?
I think some guys are better than others. So it's inconsistent would be the best way to define that. You know, you have to practice a certain way. Like the blueprint that we use, it's demanding, but it has its moments where you ramp up and then other moments where you cool the engine, shut them down so that your body can recover, so you can train the mind as hard as you train the body. And then you want to come on and see what's the result of that. And you know, if it all requires mental intensity as much as it does, you know, physical toughness and all that goes with it. So we have seen some guys get better, but we still, to be the team that we want to be, the organization we want to be, and when I say this, I mean the coaches as well. I mean, every single part of their processes will be tested. They will be challenged tomorrow, and they understand that the competitive nature of our team has to be influenced by the coaches, but it has to apply to our coaching staff as well, including myself. So I hope that kind of answers it.
How are you doing also from a health standpoint? I saw people didn't see Jordan Miller out there yesterday with a couple other guys at Nick. How are you holding up?
I think we're camp banged up. You know, we've had a couple guys that have had more significant injuries than others, and others are bouncing back. Don't feel that it's time to disclose exactly who's where. I'll mention Jordan Miller because I know you brought him up, but he's going to be fine and should be practicing with us, if not tomorrow, by Tuesday of next week. That's the expectation. So, you know, our training staff is awesome. You know, obviously medical, the University of Miami medical staff, department, everything goes with it is the premier one in the country. It's the best of the best. So they do a really good job, and I trust the processes that they have put in place, and our guys are doing pretty well.
On that injury note, is there, for Zion, is there like a minimum number of practices you feel like he needs to get in before he's ready to go for a game?
I don't think you put a number on that. Gotta see what he looks like. You know, I remember trying to put a number on how many snaps Panay Sewell needs to start, and needed like 1. You know, so we'll see where he is. Conditioning's a different element, but you know, I've mentioned his name before. Joe Girardi, who was a player here, he's our return to play specialist. He does an incredible job getting these guys ready, and not just from whether it be getting nicked up or a true injury or procedure, but he also gets these guys in great condition. That's usually more than half the battle when a guy returns to play. And he keeps those guys in a really, really good condition. If they can't sprint, we'll have them in the water. If they can't use a foot due to an ankle, they'll be creative, let's just say that. But also very, very professional and very effective.
Don Chaney, is there a status update on him?
There's not. He suffered an injury. There's no update on it, and hopefully it'll be better sooner than later.
I know the calendar says it's still 2 weeks away, but do you start to transition to game week type stuff next week? Or will you wait?
Late in the week. Late in the week, what we'll do is tomorrow is really important, and it's important that they stay focused on tomorrow. That's because if you start talking, hey, on this day we're gonna pull this and that, don't think it's very effective. So we will stay the course, and tomorrow I'll focus on tomorrow. Certainly be glad to summarize what we're going to be doing next week and how we handle Tuesday and Wednesday, leading up to the latter part of the week where you start transitioning. But until then, there's still plenty to work on. You know, we're trying to squeeze 10 years into 7 months.
Where have you seen
So
Tyler?
that's what I'm trying to do right here, you know, and that requires a lot of time and a lot of stuff. So, but we're not there yet. But hopefully soon we'll be able to give you a more detailed plan.
How's that working?
You know, like an accordion, you know. But it's coming along day by day.
Where have you seen Tyler improve from, you know, the guy you saw on film from last year to where he was in the spring to now?
Well, I think he's going against a defense that can cover well and that can put pressure on the quarterback. And you lost your two most productive playmakers, right? In terms of from a receiver standpoint, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. But those guys, I mean, you watch, there's a lot of, right, third and long, go up and make a play. And we need to find that. We have to find that, right? If you come to Miami, you have to have the want to, the ability to make that happen. And we're still trying to find where that is. Him, you know, whenever you're a quarterback and you take on a new system, right, it does take some time. He has accelerated that time and has done really well. And he understands ball. You know, not many quarterbacks, well, let me take that back. I don't want to assume. Not every quarterback understands protections and what comes with it and how to get yourself in a good one and out of a bad one and maybe get an advantage, run play or whatnot. He does. He understands leverage. He understands disguise coverages. He's really good, really good pre to post snap coverage and being able to make a decision. This guy's special.
So if you want, are you confident that after you get through tomorrow, then you start juggling school with football, the discipline we're going to need in place for guys to be able to juggle those two things at once?
Well, it's unwavering. I mean, there's no going back. I mean, it's not going to compromise that. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what every parent wants for their son. I know that when my son, if he's good enough to go somewhere, I want him around awesome people that work their tails off, that are high-level professionals and have a super high care factor, are going to hold them accountable. To make sure they get a great education, to make sure they understand the principles of respect, the importance of words like please and thank you that go with everything you do. You know, so how you do anything is how you do everything is a real way of life, and it's gonna be real and it's not gonna change. You know, so guys got to be about that life. You know, we've had a really good response and a lot of improvement. And the true test, you're right. The true test comes when all of a sudden, add school to it. Right? All of a sudden, the simplicity of having your snack ready, but you better make sure you find a way to prepare doubly because you're going to be jammed up in classes and going to a tutor before you got to hurry on back for a 6:45 meeting. So, and then we also next week we transition to 20-hour weeks, which is different from I've been on the West Coast where it's quarters. So you don't have any classes for about 4 or 5 weeks. So that's something for me to get used to. But we will adjust. Whatever cost it takes.
So the 20-hour rule applied when you were a student. Here,
Next question.
Chris, last one.
Coach, just with their running back room, how do you feel about the depth? I know you mentioned Javante, just the guys you do have, how do you feel about it right now?
They're good. They're explosive playmakers. The most important, I would say, the aspect that you see a fair amount of improvement still needs to get better is in ball security. You know, thought we were a little bit loose with the ball, just watching the film. A little bit from the past. We're asking a lot of them. You know, we're pretty multiple on offense. I'm sure you've watched some of the film that relates to the schools of the guys that are coordinators here in the schools that I've been at. So they've been asked a lot, both in the run game, protection, and in the pass game, and they're really good. Now we obviously, we're a little bit banged up, and we're going to have to adjust, and that comes with it. So we will adjust, and we'll make do.
Do you have an update on Javante other than a significant injury?
He's significant.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.